Well, welcome to the Coach's Corner. Hi, I'm Frank Barbahan, and I will be your discipleship coach for this week with your permission. We're going to begin a lengthy series titled Using Suffering and Trauma to Forge Your New Identity in Christ. The first one today is on the secular view of suffering and trauma. There are two main pictures that the secular society has of suffering. The first one is epitomized in the movie The Lion King. And at the heart of it is that suffering and then death are a natural part of life. It's the cycle of life. There's nothing really abnormal to it, even though we don't like to suffer and die. It's just the way life is. Everything on the planet that lives in some way or other ends up suffering, and every living thing on the planet then dies. There is no divine meaning to it. It just is what it is. Everything that lives suffers and dies. And in the meantime, you scramble trying to eke out a living and try to be happy. The second major view of suffering is this cheap, shallow view called karma, that what goes around comes around. And basically, if you're going to be terrible to people somehow or other, life, fate, the universe is going to get back at you and punish you. It's kind of like a secular version of Old Testament blessing and cursing, or blessing and punishment. That if you're a good person, karma is going to work on your behalf, and good things are going to happen to you. And if you're a bad person, karma is going to get you, and it's going to bring you down in some way or other. Now, another whole angle on this is that secular psychologists have looked across three generations, my generation, the baby boomers, and then Gen Xers and Gen Yers, or the millennials. And in their analysis of the culture, they have come to discern that the baby boomer generation has had no philosophy of life. The baby boomer generation has been focused on materialism, has been focused on acquiring opportunities, money, and happiness. And buried in that, there's been no philosophy of suffering. So what's ended up happening is that going down into the Gen Xers and then the millennials is there's been a tremendous focus on happiness, and there's been no equipping with any perspective on how in the world you deal with suffering when suffering comes your way. And if you notice, a major goal of middle-class living is to protect us from all kinds of vicissitudes and suffering. So we have houses that we control the weather inside that protects us from the suffering of Mother Nature's vicissitudes. We go to doctors, we have health insurance, we have disability insurance, anything and everything to protect us from the vicissitudes of life, from suffering. And the focus is on acquiring as much happiness as we can. Well, let me know your thoughts or your questions. Feel free to blog me at the Coach's Corner, or email me at frank@peakperformancediscipleship.com, frank@peakperformancediscipleship.com, and we'll see you next time.